please, somebody still has their mic open, maybe on a cell phone or something. Could you please mute it? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we are on the bottom at 3,780 meters, and our site is called Enigma Seamount. Deb, do you want to discuss a little bit of the geology that we're going to be looking for today?
I think I'm going to let Patty do that. Patty, hopefully you can give us yet another fantastic description of what we're going to see today.
Hi, yeah. What we're settling down on, obviously, is a sedimented portion of the slope of the seamount, but the rocks that you see in the upper left of the image look like they may have some manganese cover. I'm not sure that they are in situ, in other words, attached to the substrate of the rocks of this seamount. But the seamount itself is of particular interest because it sits on a trend of a group. But the seamount itself is of particular interest because it sits on a trend of a group of seamounts that run northeast, southwest on the downgoing subducting plate near the Mariana Trench, but they are southeast of the Mariana Trench. And what we suspect they may represent is possibly younger volcanic features than the Cretaceous or older seamounts that occur further north along the Pacific Plate, which is being subducted at the Mariana Trench. And if that's true, this may represent one of a group of seamounts that marks a boundary between the old Jurassic, Cretaceous, and these are maybe 180, 150 million year old seafloor seamounts that formed long ago when the dinosaurs were alive. And this one may be much younger. It may represent a contact, a geologic contact between that older crust to the north and possibly younger crust to the southeast of this particular seamount. What we're hoping to do is pick up some rocks that we may be able to date and find out what the age of this particular seamount is. Likely it's volcanic, and we're hoping to be able to determine whether this is the boundary between a previously undiscovered contact between two tectonic plates of the Earth. So right now we're looking at a polychaete worm, its little plates swimming through the water, and we suspect that the hard rock surfaces exposed on the seamount may have good substrate for some of the animals to attach themselves to. So objectives for this dive are both rocks and critters.
Okay. Thank you so much, Patty. So let's check in with our pilot and see what's next on our plate. Pilot, could you repeat that? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
And
Very
can
good.
we just check what time we're coming off bottom today?
Yeah.
Nav, what time are we coming off bottom today?
All right, so geologists on the line. I'm a little tempted to just start moving and see what we can see instead of picking up a rock right here. But I would love to get your opinion on whether you would like a rock here.
Oh, this is Patty. I think that we should get a rock to start with, just in case the slope, which we know is going to be kind of gentle at the beginning of the dive, does not provide us with anything but sediment-covered surface. So I would go for some rock here at the beginning of the dive, and then try for something further up the slope later.
Thanks very much. All right, pilot, so we'd like to look for a rock here, see if we can find something that might be useful to pick up. Yep.
Okay. Pulling out. Nice flying. You can fly as smoothly as a very small creature.
When we first settled down, there were rocks over to the left. So instead of panning right, as you're doing now, perhaps look over to the left where there was a greater
Yeah, go ahead, Nav.
number of samples to choose from. These may just be manganese
Just to repeat, 1425, right?
in the sediment
Okay,
area.
great. Thank
So,
you.
pilot, can
Want
we
the chili?
pan left instead of right? When you're done zooming? What is that?
Okay, so we had our first beastie before, and it looked like a polychaete, either an acrocerid or a tomopterid. And this is definitely a jelly of some kind, but it's actually sort of...
Is it jelly?
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's actually kind of... It looks like it's standing, but...
Oh,
no,
I
it
see
was.
it now. Okay.
Oh, brilliant.
That's really cool.
I've never seen a jelly, like, resting on the seafloor like that. On the... Yeah. Chris thinks it may be a Trachymedusae. Beautiful. I'm going to go one step further and say, hold on, let me confirm this before I say it, in case I'm wrong.
I'm so jealous that Diva has the animal guide for this area.
No, I'm not going to check that guide. I'm going to check another guide. Hold on.
Seems like you got tether bounce or something going on.
Don't you have it too?
Auto depth or something?
All right, when we're
Okay.
done imaging this, could we maybe start panning back
Max
to look for a rock? Okay. That is amazing.
So this looks really similar to one that we've seen in the Clarion-Clipperton zone. So that's about the same depth, but in the eastern Pacific. And if I had to guess, I would say it was a Rhopalonematidae. But I'm just skimming through my guide trying to find it. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Rhopalonematidae.
Yep.
And that was an ID that I got from Dougal Lindsay a couple months ago, and he's pretty slick on the old jellies.
Awesome.
Steven, could you punch in that name in the event log, please?
Did it, Chris? On it.
Got it. Sorry.
And pilot, I think you're already on it, but Patty asked that we pan left from where we are to look for rocks. Thank you. Yeah, oops. All right. So it looks like we're wandering back towards a little outcrop. Oh.
This looks like Target Ridge area, and if you can find something here that is full, that would be great.
We absolutely will, Patty. I think you're right. This is a great place to start.
I would go for something that has a surface that is smoother rather than cauliflower-like, because I think that the cauliflower sort of texture is likely manganese encrustation. But
everything I'm seeing, Patty, kind of looks the same right now. Do you see anything that looks a little bit fresher?
Can we do a ship move of 25 meters at bearing 110 degrees?
Is it trash or is it biological?
Yeah, can we snap zoom on that white thing?
25 meters, bearing 110, 2 decimal knots.
Zoom on this white object.
I think it's a sponge.
Good copy.
No, it is
No, it's
trash.
trash.
in this area, except that
Well, at least we saw some rocks before we saw trash.
Plastic bag, people.
Science, all those
That's why you
brown
don't use
objects are very
plastic
small
bags.
beads.
You use cloth bags or usable bags.
Do we have time
I'm
to
sorry,
look
Roland,
at
what
those?
did you say?
Just take a note that
Position move
those
initiated.
brown patches are round balls of what looks like sediment. I think we should look at those.
Sure, we can zoom in on that.
They look very different, and they're all throughout this area. So.
That's really interesting. What are we looking at? Yeah, they do look like pellets.
Okay, so that must be from biological origin, I'm going to guess. So perhaps like a type of crab or
It's
something
everywhere
that
in this
makes
area.
these. I mean, you see this a lot on land.
That
Where
would be a whole
animals
lot of
make
crabs.
tiny. I mean, I remember seeing this on a beach in the Whitsundays in Australia, and there were so many little balls like that. But there were also a load of crabs. But maybe that's what they are. I don't know if anybody else has any insight into what it is on shore. That's
We have the
just me
ability
and
to
my
sit down.
hypothesis.
All right.
You can see it's all on
It's
the
everywhere.
left,
Yeah,
upper left
it's
as
like
well.
a huge. Maybe the mystery will be solved during the dive.
So while we're looking at those, if we could try to identify a good rock, that would be great. Patty, I think that they all pretty much look the same.
Upper
so
left of
Guess she said any
lasers.
rock in the area.
Oh,
would be
okay.
good.
Thank you for looking at the event rock. Yeah, so
Next to the big
if you
one.
can grab one that's of a reasonable size, I think that would be wonderful.
this is Patty. Were you asking me something? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch it.
I was going to ask you, but then Diva pointed out that you had mentioned in the event log that we were in a good place to sample. So thanks.
One of the onshore scientists has also pointed out that perhaps these pellets have come from a deep-sea donkey, goat, rabbit, you know.
That is what they look like, actually.
That is actually exactly what they look like.
And, of course, for the folks at home who are following along, we're just making a joke. As far as we know, there are no deep-sea donkeys.
As far as we know.
I said that, as far as we know. Why can't I ever see the lasers? Oh, there they are. Yeah, I've got it now. Okay. That one looks pretty good. I think any of those three probably look pretty good. Okay. And you guys don't have a scoop to sample, do you? Okay.
No, and you can just see a stalk crinoid to the right. We shouldn't pan on it. We should collect the rock. But for those viewers on the right side of the screen, there is a stalk crinoid on the underside of the large rock
CRI, is that right?
Can we take a zoom
Okay, so
prior to
their
doing the
mic
manip
open out
in the
there,
area?
maybe on a cell phone or something. Please mute the mic.
Yep. Yeah, you've got it now.
So geologists, how do we feel about this rock? Looking pretty nice so far?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So either one of those, but you guys are probably going to go for the smaller one, right?
I believe we are going to go for the smaller one.
That makes it easier to find an unaltered center for age dating.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm interested in larger rocks.
I think it's a little bit of a balance because we want to try to, if we think we might want to try to collect 3 rocks today, if we can, we'd probably want them all to be a little bit smaller so that we can do it. But this should be plenty big. This rock looks like it's at least 15 centimeters long, the top one.
That's full line.
If you have music playing in the background wherever you are, please mute your mic. There's quite a lot of interference that makes it difficult for us to have conversations with the ship. So please mute your mic if you are not talking. Thank you. Why, this is Patty, if it's possible to pick that one up, that looks beautiful.
Okay, so you liked the rock that they just tried to pick up?
This is Patty. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were asking me if I like the rock. I love the rock.
Excellent. I can't tell you how excited I am that other geologists are finally on the line. Other people who like rocks as much as I do, if not more. So it looks like we're going to be putting this in the port rock box. Can you change that for me? Thanks for the confirmation. Okay. Sorry, that was me. All right, so we're going to take some glamour shots of this rock. We're going to tilt it around, get some good looks at it.
It's good positioning. I'm in focus, ready to go.
Thank you, pilots. All right, so we have begun this dive off right by collecting a rock.
That was a fantastic pickup. Thank you so much, pilot.
And if we have a chance to get a close-up on that stock crinoid, that'd be great.
Before we start moving again, pilot, would it be okay to get a close-up on that crinoid? Great.
So from what I can see from that crinoid already, it looks like it might be a hyocrinid. I think they typically have 5 arms. Chris, if I'm wrong, please jump in. And they also tend to be yellow. It's on the right. Yep. Whereabouts? Yeah, I got you. There's also something to the right of the big rock. We'll when we pick up and go, I can snap zoom on it. There's an animal on each side of this rock behind.
I'm putting in my dirt filters, my sediment filters.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with hyocrinid here. Okay, great. Thank you, pilots. That's beautiful. We can move on when you're ready. There's also, you can see a little, maybe parasitic gastropod underneath that.
Give me just about another 5 seconds.
Yes, we are. And if we see any fauna that I want you to zoom on, I'll ask politely. Thanks.
Did you see that texture on the pellets when they zoomed in?
So now we're thinking either feces or feeding pellets from crabs of some kind, or perhaps forearms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like clusters of forearms?
So that gastropod that was on the crinoid was Eulimid, from the family Eulimidae, and these are actually usually parasitic on echinoderms. I've collected them before, parasitizing, what was it? I think a Gorgonocephalus.
More detritus.
Is that another piece of trash? Just a quick zoom. Oh, second bit of...
This is very depressing.
Oh, that looks like plastic as well.
Looks
Okay,
like
that's
clothing.
great video. Thank you.
It looks
Oh,
like
no,
clothing.
it's clothing,
Yeah, it
yeah.
looks like
Or
clothing.
like sailcloth or something. Canvas.
And I'll just remind everybody that taking a look at the Sirius feed is always pretty awesome. It gives you a nice broad view.
Can
of
we
what
snap
it is
zoom
you
on
wanna
that
look at.
white on the left of the little rock, please?
Go for bridge.
It's important. Does look like a can. So that is 3 pieces of trash in about 5 minutes.
25 meters.
On a seamount
Bearing
south of the Marianas at
160.2
3,800 feet.
knots.
Good copy.
Looks like Budweiser. Any dates?
Okay, Budweiser can. Thanks, pilots.
It's
That
good
one looks
color.
pretty new.
Good color for my cameras.
Is that the king of beers?
So what? Oh, there's another piece of trash behind it, maybe?
Yeah.
So what sometimes happens is that because seamounts are hot fishing areas, it obviously results in a spike in boats sort of around the top of the seamount, and as a result sometimes you do get higher than average trash on top of those seamounts. But usually it's related to fishing gear, but I guess sometimes things end up overboard as well. Yeah, so it's 4 pieces of trash in 5 minutes. And Les Watling, who works at the University of Hawaii on deep sea coral and also crustaceans, he has remarked that, and he's also worked quite a lot on seamounts, he's remarked that he's seen more garbage on the deep sea floor in this area than probably on all of his other dives put together, which is a pretty interesting anecdotal bit of bit of evidence for, yeah, lots of human influence there.
So here we are. We're still looking at sediment with little isolated outcrops. I'm assuming these are volcanic rocks that are covered in a manganese crust.
We'd like to bring on a 40-meter move at 160 at 0.2 knots at the end of this one.
Stringing on a 40-meter move, bearing 160.2 knots.
Good copy.
Nav, do you have a moment? Can you pull out on the high pack so we can see where the waypoint is?
Patty, I was just going to make a comment about some of these globules clustering what looks to me like
really
down current basically in the lee of some of the rocks. You can see ripple marks on the seafloor in the upper left of the image right now, suggesting a current coming from the upper left of the screen to the lower right. And
some creatures moving on the ground there, or it's those balls blowing around left of the stick.
Interesting environment, or just
maybe
the globule things don't get swept away if they're behind a rock.
Yeah, let's look at the stick.
That's a really good point, Patty. So you are seeing the little balls sort of clustered around the outcrops.
Right, and the rock
Yes.
that we just saw in the upper right of the image looks highly fractured.
Thank you.
Chris is sitting next to me. He said, looks like a dike rock, and that is a possibility, but also it could be thermal cooling cracks from a fairly thick flow.
Thanks, that was really helpful, Nav. Thanks, Patty. That was awesome. We're going to keep asking you geology questions through the whole dive. What is that?
So the long stringy thing looks like it could just be the stalk of a sponge, or dead sponge, or stalk of a dead coral. Probably sponge. And then, yeah, some more of those weird balls.
The balls are on the move. See them rolling down slope?
Okay, pilots, we're good to move whenever you are good to move. Yeah, I'm not I don't know.
Well, this is Patty again, just guessing. You know, those little globules that we're seeing, the surface texture looks biologic. You know, I mean, I don't think that these are fecal pellets. They almost look compartmentalized in the high-def video. Just beautiful video of these things.
Thanks, Patty. I agree. It's a really interesting texture that luckily we're able to see because we have such high-resolution video.
Tina Molotova is observing that she thinks the texture of them looks quite a lot like sponges. So perhaps they could be like, some offcut of sponges maybe, or that's the entire sponge and they move around. I don't know. But I do definitely see what Tina's going with there.
Okay, video's clear. Science, also take note of that yellow thing on the black rock in the center. Something very small.
Go ahead, Nav. So we would like to get to waypoint 1. Let's start with that. And along the way, we're just going to be looking for basically interesting geology and biology, but more, I think this is more geology focused. But we would like to try and get to waypoint 1 and just keep giving us updates every now and again of how much more we have to go and how much progress we're making, I guess. Thank you.
We see some type of whip.
Can we snap zoom on this stalked animal that we're just coming up, the lasers on it right now, quickly? So I'm thinking Calyptrophora. Coral people, do you agree? Nope? Okay. I mean, I was right that it was a primnoid, but I got the genus wrong. So Chris is saying Candidella, which is a primnoid coral.
Going for full specimen. Okay, video's clear. Something swimming.
So it looks like we're still in an area with a lot of rubble, volcanics, still a lot of sediment, and we're zooming in on, is that a fish?
So I can't quite see its face, but we do have a fish. Well, we did have a fish. It looks like an ophidiid, though, given the sort of round head.
This is Patty. Sure looks like in the upper part of the view we're looking at a big talus pile. And what's interesting about the individual samples is they're quite angular. The fish is gorgeous. But for the rocks, the fact that they're all pretty much the same size and have that angularity makes it suspicious that they may be pillow fragments.
It's not going to get it better than that. Jelly
So
up
Patty, as
top
we
of
head
the
up
screen.
slope, we might want to be keeping our eyes out to see if we can find those intact pillows that this rubble came from.
Yeah, I agree. Fingers crossed.
Me too. There's nothing like checking out pillows on the seafloor.
So this fish, given the round, transparent head, more the round head, it does look like a species of the Basozetus genus.
And we saw one of those yesterday or the day before, right?
No, yesterday, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like there may be some white rocks intermixed with these darker ones. Yep, another fish. Something white in the bottom.
Oh, look at this. See, they're zooming on the fish, and I'm looking at the rocks.
Another piece of trash, and that's a polychaete. Nah.
That's a good view, though.
I mean, they're always beautiful, but
Better than the view we had before.
I think that's the fifth piece of trash, sixth piece of trash.
Yeah, it's very depressing.
Yep, that's it.
And as Patty mentioned, these
That's real
talus still appears to be pretty angular. We still have a lot of sediment in this area.
You know, one thing I noticed just a moment ago as we were looking at those rocks in that pile, that one of them would have a Pahoesis, a ropey surface, which would suggest that that is definitely the surface of a lava.
So, Patty, you were cutting out a little bit there, but I think I heard you say that you thought you saw some ropey lava, and so that we would be seeing a different lava morphology than we have previously. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I thought I saw one of the maybe 2 or 3 kind of clustered together that had a Pahoehoe type surface, which is just, you know, fine ropey surface on some of the fragments.
Unfortunately, I missed that, but I will take your word for it.
That's white up there.
Can we get a zoom on the big white thing in the top center of the screen, please?
Are we playing Stump the Biologist right now?
We're not sure if it's biologists or geologists we're trying to stump at this point.
That doesn't look
We are purposely being very quiet here.
Yeah, right?
Go
It looks
to the
just
lower
like
edge.
rock. Doesn't look bio.
Well, that looks to me like that is a thick pile of stuff that's draping the rocks around it, and the upper right material looks, I don't know, that looks
Go
like
a
an
little upper left.
autogenic sort of sediment or something.
Yeah, I agree.
No idea what that is.
No, but I agree with you. It does look like it's I don't know, some kind of
Tilt up and it looks like
Sediment-related thing.
it grows on top.
Normally, I would say this might be something we want to collect, but I think that for today's dive, we're more interested in getting volcanics.
Casey was suggesting maybe trying to poke at this with the SIPO.
What? Can you repeat that? We missed it.
Sorry, you're moving, okay.
Can we move towards and zoom on the whip coral? It's the long stringy one coming off that boulder, which is dead center. And then behind it, it looks like there's a massive bag of trash. Or maybe a boulder with something on it. So let's go there after. Oh, yeah, rather than a tied bag of trash.
I really hope that's a boulder.
Maybe we shouldn't zoom on it.
If we get a chance, could we look at the thing on the boulder in the back?
Pretty certain that thing in the back is a bag.
We think so.
So this also looks like a primnoid. Pretty similar to the one we saw before, so I'm going to go with perhaps it is. And that would be Candidella genus. Beautiful. Thank you, pilots. Ready to move on whenever you are. And we want to look at that bag of trash or coral on a rock, whatever it is.
Let's not call it a bag of trash until we are proven otherwise.
Yeah, that's totally a bag of trash.
RV nav,
Wow.
bridge.
But look. No, it's a bag of trash.
Piece of trash number 7.
Now, that is just wrong.
Something purple in the upper left. It may be another can, but it may be bio behind the left.
RV nav, you're requesting a 50-meter move
A few of
bearing
these rocks, so-
160.2 knots, correct?
They do look like they might have
This
a
looks like a
lighter
Caulophacus
manganese crust.
sponge. A Caulophacus stalk sponge.
Should get it tight on the at least the head of it for archival.
And this is a pretty big one given the size of the lasers, which you can just see around the center of the sponge. Beautiful.
Yep.
That is a beautiful Caulophacus.
It's coming towards your skid.
Fantastic imagery, pilots.
Go for a full specimen. A couple more seconds. Okay, we're clear.
I wonder if they could take a quick swing and look at the backside where the stock attaches, but it's not real important if there's not time.
Did you get that, pilot?
That is where the stock attaches to the ball on the top. Yeah, that's good enough. That's most definitely Caulophacus.
Yep. Get about 8 seconds total. You can keep going that direction. Okay. It's one of the best pirouettes I've seen in a long time. I'm sure he's watching.
Look at that field of pellets.
That's like a lot of those little pellets.
So I think we're having an exploration moment right now, right? We did not expect to see any of this stuff. We don't know what it is, although we've had some great speculation. So this is why we explore, to find the unexpected.
Maybe we can pick up one of these cans and pick up some pellets.
There's another piece of trash above. We don't need to zoom on it, but I think our 8th piece of trash, or 7th for this.
Yeah, I think starting now we don't have to close up on all of our trash.
But it's just depressing.
Look at that. There's a little bit of a small
mound.
A small mound of
with like
sediment.
a dune.
A dune?
Yeah, like a sand dune. You know,
oh,
they
a
have
dune.
like the face.
A dune.
Sorry.
Maybe this is where they're growing.
It was my fault. I didn't understand what you were saying.
This is an engineering hypothesis. Maybe this is where these are growing, and then they're blowing off of this.
If we touch these, would they be consolidated, do you think? Or do you think they'd all be loose?
Could do it with the thrusters, or touch them with the...
Could do. Yeah. If you could try and crush some, that'd be great.
Notice I didn't say crush. I just said move.
I'm wondering about this. Do you think that this mound is
oh, wow.
the animals or whatever it is on the top?
Yeah, we don't know, Patty. That's a great question. Look at those move, though.
Or existing on the remains of
Now
their ancestors.
turn and look at the spot where you're...
Patty, I think your guess is as good as the rest of everybody in the room. But...
Okay, they're pretty...
You may have noticed they weren't really consolidated.
Quite easily. Yeah. Oh, another piece of trash behind. Why not?
There's a... left of that rock, there was a critter.
All right, so we tried a little bit of poking at those mounds and saw that they are not consolidated in any way. They were pretty easy to shift around. We do wonder if that might be an origin point.
Crinoid on that rock on the left. It's the white dot you see on the rock. It's actually, that's the top of the center of the disc or whatever it is. That's something.
So that's another one of the cladorized sponges. We saw one yesterday in the Marianas Trench on our deep dive. And these are predatory sponges. We also collected a beautiful cladorizer yesterday. It was in absolutely incredible condition when we got it back on board. Great, thank you, pilots. I think the one we saw yesterday, we saw two in the Marianas yesterday, one similar to this, but instead of having the spicules all the way around around the sort of central piece, it just kind of shot off horizontally at either end of it. And then, of course, we saw the one that looked like a...
Can we zoom in on the rock that's just going off the screen on the left side?
Video's swapping out.
I'll just get it later. Yeah, it does. It does look like it's scouring because it looks like it might have had some, some sediment cover for a while, and then that's been exposed, and now it's got these balls that are hanging up next to it. Thank you. That was great. So the outcrops are starting to look a little bit more fractured. Patty, do you think we're seeing some structure? Or Bob? I believe Bob might also be on the line.
Yeah, this is Patty. I really think we're looking more at pillow structures
I think so too. Yeah, chopped up pillow structures, but...
I have been wondering for the past 10 minutes if we should try to pick up another rock.
Let's ask the pilots whether that's a possibility right now.
Enough that you could grab one of those on the left side of the screen?
We'll have to ask and find out. Let me check. Pilot, is now an okay time to pick up a rock, or are you in the middle of a move?
I'll check with Brad. He's about to large fish on Suez.
So it is a good time?
Okay. Full wide.
So we can sample?
We do have a fish to the right of the ROV if it's possible to take a spin at some point before he leaves.
If you guys want to check out the fish, that the scientists are requesting it.